Okay, I'll start again.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Today's speaker is Ervad Dr. Jehan Bagli. Dr. Bagli doesn't need much of an introduction. Most people around the world know him. Most people, when I say most, Zarathustris. In any case, a few highlights of his distinguished career are as follows. Ervad Jehan Bagli retired as a distinguished research fellow of Wyeth Ayrest Pharmaceutical Research. He was also a founding partner and president of the Zoroastrian Association of Quebec and the editor of Gavashni, a North American Zoroastrian publication, for over 16 years. He has published 6 books and lectured extensively on various aspects of Zoroastrian religion in North America and abroad. And in fact, one of his books that he wrote with Ervad Adi, Unwala, is the book that most young Morbets use currently when they're doing jashans or praying obsequies. He was awarded the NAMC Distinguished Scholar Award. And again, I repeat that he has made a great contribution, not only to Morbets, but also for our entire community in North America, and for which we are very grateful to him. Today's topic is Amesha Spenta, a stairway from physical to spiritual. And with that, I hand over to Dr. Jehan Bagli.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your kind words. I will start in the name of God. The term God was invented by mankind. Consequently, each one of us have our own perspective of the image of the supreme divinity. Zarathustra was unique among the divine teachers to put forth a radically different notion of the Creator. In his profound comprehension of the supreme intelligence he detected in nature, this Aryan prophet proposed the veneration of wisdom as his Godhead and designated that as Mazda. Thus started Mazda Yasna. What the hell happened now? Excuse me, I think that technology is bothering me.
Do you need some help, Janka?
Yeah. I don't know why the slides are not moving.
Would you want me to display the slides in your place?
Hold on.
Sure.
What the hell is going on? Oh shit! What the hell is happening?
If you would like to, if you like me to share the slide, I can do that for you, Janka.
Yeah, I know, but my PowerPoint doesn't seem to functioning. What? Okay, here we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
We cannot see the slide as yet, in case if you've not seen the slide, if you'd like to share the slide.
Well, as I told you, that thus started Mazda Yasna, the worship of wisdom. Godhead that he designated as Mazda. For Zarathustra, religion was a quest for one's true self, and that is a journey or a quest of one's divine wisdom within. Okay. he clearly expresses that in Yasna 50, Spenta Menu Gatha, when he says, I shall sing your praises, wise one, and I shall do it as long as I shall have the strength and will through righteousness. The God of Zarathustra is wisdom personified, Lord Wisdom, Ahura Mazda. To fully comprehend the majesty of his God and what it implies, Zarathustra elaborates some 6 primal values or aspects of the Creator. The Zoroastrian way of life is fully embedded in these aspects of Mazda. Collectively, we recognize these aspects as Amesha Spenta, interpreted as holy or bounteous immortal. The term Amesha Spenta does not appear in the Gathas. However, for the first time, it appears in Yasna Haptan Haiti, traditionally known as Haptan Yas.
Janka,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt. Would you want me to start up the slideshow if you're having difficulties with PowerPoint?
No, I'm fine now.
Well, because we don't see the slide on our screen.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh. Okay.
You can share screen again, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me- You see them now?
Not at the moment, no.
No? Oh, God.
I can do that for you. Don't worry. You can just tell me when to proceed and I will keep changing the slides over.
No. Just can we turn the damn thing off? I can't turn it off. Oh. Okay, I'm just going to.
Share button, share screen, or share PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And there it is coming up. I can see the notes screen. I saw not the PowerPoint presentation, but I see the Word document. So you might want to share the other program.
You see them now?
I can just see the Word document that you have open, not the PowerPoint.
You don't see the slide?
No, I don't see the slides.
Oh, for God's sake. I don't know what the hell is happening.
You might want to stop the share and do it again. Stop sharing it.
Right.
Would you like? So that is that window you had shared initially. That instead of that, you can share the PowerPoint. Great job, Jankal. We can see the PowerPoint profile now, and there it is.
Everything okay?
The slides are up. Thank you very much, Jankal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me go back to that. So as I was saying, where we collectively, we know, now let me the next one. Yeah, Amesha Spenta. So I was saying that Amesha Spenta appears for the first time in Yasna in Haiti. In fact, this hymn starts with reverence to Amesha Spenta in Yasna 35 and ends with homage to them in Yasna 42. These aspects, as described in the Gathas, are 6 emanations of Ahura Mazda. They are like 7 colors of a rainbow coming from the white light. Living a life through the practice of these aspects is the pathway to that white light of wisdom. Now I switched from 6 to 7 because the value together with Mazda Ahura forms the heptad of 7. The tradition has incorporated am I there?
I can see the slides that says the collective term, holy
Okay.
bounties.
Okay, let me see. Why is it not moving now?
The slide changed.
Yeah. The tradition has incorporated the duality of gender in these attributes of creator. Thus, the first 3, Asha, Vahista, Vahumana, and Kshatravairya, have been rendered male triad. But more importantly, these are the aspects that must be put into practice and translated into actions in the daily life. And that is the most important part of this triad. The second triad, made up of Spenta Menu, Haurvatat, and Amritat, is rendered female, and that represents the reward and consequences that result from the practice of the aspects of the first triad. Now, before we discuss these qualities, I would like to say a few words about the divine status of these aspects of Ahura Mazda. These aspects of Ahura Mazda demonstrate the characteristic of the supreme divinity. The character of an individual is a mental and moral qualities that demonstrate the values and belief of an individual. As such, the character is synonymous with the individual's identity. However, tradition has isolated these aspects as separate divinities, and even at some point labeled them as archangels. However, a closer look at the Avestan texts reveal that these values and aspects of Mazda are in fact synonymous with Ahura Mazda and forms the basis of the composition of the heptad. The evidence is clear both in the older as well as the later literature. For example, Hormazd, right in the first verse, when Zarathustra asks the creator as to what is the spell that is most effective to ward off evil and purify the mind and the soul. And the divine response is, Amma kem namas pitama Zarathustra yata ameshnam spentanam, meaning the names of us, the bountiful immortal. Once again in Ardibesh, yes, in connection with the worship of Ardibesh, the divine response is for the worship and invocation of us, Amesha Spenta. The key word in both these quotes is us Amesha Spenta. Amma kem Ameshanam Spentanam. So we notice that the Supreme Divinity includes itself together with these aspects of Amesha Spenta. Once again, as we see in Faradin Yash 13, in Karda 23, and in Zamyad Yash in Karda 3, we see the words Yoi hepta hamomanango, Yoi hepta hamovachango, Yoi hepta hamoshyotanango, Yashem asti hamem mano, hamem vacho, hamem shyotanem, hamapatacha frasastacha, yedadvo ahura mazda. Meaning, 7 are of one thought, 7 are of one word, and 7 are of one deed, whose thoughts are the same, word is the same, deed is the same, instructed by one Father who is the creator, Ahura Mazda. Excuse me. The notion of Mazda being one with this bounteous immortal is further confirmed in the Gothic phrases, where Zarathustra alludes to the oneness of these aspects with as Ahura when he invokes in Yasna 28, I shall serve all of you, wise Lord, with good thinking. And in Yasna 50, I shall always worship all of you, wise Lord, with truth and with good mind. Nowhere is this concept of Amesha Spenta as Ahura is more strikingly expressed than in Yasna 30, verse 9, and Yasna 31, verse 4. Here we see the word Mazdaoscha Auraongo. These words are the plural of Mazda Ahura and are translated by the philologists as wise one and other Ahura. So the Amesha Spentas have been brought to the status of the highest level of Ahura in these Yasna. In fact, the great Savant Tarapurwala, he clearly mentions in the footnote of the translation of these particular verses, when he says, and I quote, the name Mazda Ahura, when used in plural, implies all the 7 Amesha Spenta, including the Supreme. It is therefore clear that both the older as well as the younger Avesta supports the notion that Amesha Spenta are synonymous with the Supreme Creator, Mazda Ahura. The prophet worships them all singularly and collectively as wise Lord, and mankind should do no less. The ultimate goal of the journey in the corporeal world is to live by the teachings of these wise lords and to evolve oneself spiritually from manliness progressively to be godlike and be the benefactor of service to mankind and the creation. The active practice of the teachings of these holy Ahuras of the first triad paves the way to a fruitful and progressive life. So let's ascend stepwise to the Stairway of Amesha Spenta. Zarathustra, in his search for truth, identified a divine order in the working of nature. He designated that order as Asha. Asha has generally been interpreted as truth or righteousness, but it's much, much more than that. Asha is the global intellect. It is the universal truth. It is not just the truth of the factual nature, but it's also the truth of mind and spirit. It is the truth immutable in the immutable order that governs the cosmos. It is the truth in the moral dimension of being righteous in day-to-day life. It's the truth in a philosophical sense. It's the truth in the social measure of justice. Asha is what is proper and correct for a set of situations considering the qualities of goodness, care, love, compassion, and justice. Asha is what in the right place, what fits in the right place at the right time for the right reason in the right manner to produce the right results. It is, in fact, the will of Mazda for humanity to live by. This order of the truth that gives us the rise to the universe it gives rise to the universe with all its being animate and inanimate at the beginning of time. It maintains the universe through its existence, and it devolves the universe back into it at the end of time. The universe is an indivisible whole. Through the transcendental immanence of divine, universe is like a body of God. And that body of God, the universe, is pervaded and intimately connected to Asha as its anchor. This order of nature, created and governed by Lord Wisdom, functions in absolute peace and harmony. It is entirely progressive, is totally devoid of destructive elements such as anger, fear, hatred, ego, or greed. Humanity is a part and parcel of this order and is charged with the responsibility to be the steward of this order. Comprehending this major first aspect brings us to the next one, next step of the stairway, which is Bahumana. If the mankind is to be the guardian of this majestic order of Mazda, it is only logical that human or the mankind must follow a thought process that is synchronous with that of the Creator. We must recognize that the creation was first thought into existence by Lord Wisdom before it was materially brought to life. In Yasna 31:7, verse 7, Zarathustra clearly tells us, he who in the first beginning thus thought, let the glorious heaven emanate light through his wisdom, is the creator of righteousness and holds the best mind. The term Vahumana or Vahishtamana, we read in the Gatha, refers to the universal mind of the Creator. Humanity has been gifted with the spark of that universal mind. The human mind, therefore, is a manifestation of the divine. As guardians of the resplendent creation, the human thought process must be in consonance with that of Ahura Mazda. From the Gathas, we learn that Spenta menu, the progressively benevolent mental aspect, which projects the divine creative will, is the driving force of the thought process of Ahura Mazda. The hymns of the prophet affirms in Yasna 44:7, Mazda Spenta menu Vispanam Datarem. Mazda is the creator of all through this benevolent aspect of Spenta menu. In Gatha Ushtavaiti, Zarathustra, after repeated revelations in his good mind from the Lord Wisdom, makes a spectacular assertion of choosing this benevolent mental aspect, Spenta menu, for himself in verse 16. In Vahukashtra Gatha, he reiterates to Mazda to grant him the blessings of perfection, immortality, and strength through this progressive mentality, so he can realize the mission of renovation of the corporeal existence assigned to him through his good mind. It is therefore abundantly clear that it is through this progressive mental aspect of the universal mind, Vahumana, that sacred creation was thought into existence before it was materially brought to life. Perhaps the most succinct definition of Spenta menu is provided by Dastur Amin Dhala when he says Spenta menu symbolizes ideal or perfect existence as conceived in thought by Ahura Mazda. The prophet unequivocally teaches us that just as Mazda, through his holy mentality, has created this bountiful universe, so can mankind, following the divine mental aspect, generate words stemming from their thinking of their good mind to perform acts of piety to preserve, protect, and perpetuate the corporeal creation to bring it to its pristine state. Through the practice of these divine aspects of Asha and Vahumana, that we can now ascend on the stairway of evolution to recognize the last aspect, Kshatravirya. As one follows the quest of Asha, using the gift of good mind through Spenta menu, the stage is set through the service to humanity and the creation at large for the corporeal creation to gradually approach the perfection of the divine dominion, where the rule of truth and good thinking prevails constantly. That is the culmination of the fulfillment of the mission to transform the physical creation to its primordial spiritual state. That is the Zoroastrian way of life. I would like to reiterate at this point that to understand this first triad, it is crucial that This triad should be put into practice and translated into action, for without these actions, no amount of comprehension would be enough and be futile and meaningless. Practicing these three aspects with diligence must define a way of life that reaps the reward that one cherishes through subsequent emanations of Mazda. Essential criteria for a lofty state of spiritual evolution is a calm and clarity of good mind. Spenta Almighty is a state of being that ensures success in this odyssey. Book 9 of Dinkar interprets Almighty as the will or complete mindfulness, a life in search of Asha through service to the creation and mankind must evolve a state of piety of complete mindfulness. The prophet affirms the association of the good mind and Almighty in several Gathic hymns in Gatha Aunavaiti, Ushtavaiti, and Spentamani. Almighty is a state of being that permits to harmonize the human mentality with the holy mentality, Spentamanu, the human will with the will of God, that is Asha. This tends one to be devotional, and the state of being devotional is a phase that elevates Vahumana to Vahishtamana, the good thinking to the best thinking, which in turn enlightens the path of Asha Vahista, the best truth, and leads to the rule of truth and good thinking, not only for oneself, but also in relation to mankind as a whole. It has been said, watch your thoughts, for they become your words. Watch your words, for they become your actions. Watch your actions, for they become your habits. And watch your habits, for they become your exemplary character. Through the dedication and service to mankind, one arrives to these final steps of the divine stairway of Kaurvata that characterizes the oneness of the physical self with the innate spiritual. This makes one whole or complete. The wholeness is not only taking place within oneself, but through the dedication of service to mankind, also with the humanity at large. It is here in this voyage of transformation that one reaches the pinnacle of this divine stairway to perceive the perfection of the magnificence of cosmic creation. It is here that we grasp the vision of what the white light of wisdom is, the ultimate state of the divine, the Amarita. That is the aspect of eternal bliss, the endless peace in the divine likeness of God. These aspects of Mazda are the stepping stone up the divine stairway from manliness down there to the godliness at the top. Humanity must honor the sacredness of the universe through the through the omnipresence of the divine, the universe, as I mentioned, is the corpus of the creator, and humanity must be the steward of that sacred body of God. We have to protect it and the environment, save it, share it, and renew it. When mankind learns to do all that in this span of life, their physical self will be in unison with their innate spiritual. Through the diligent adherence and practice of these ahura aspects in the daily life is the only way to oneness with the divine within. The practice of the teachings of these ahura brightens the perception and visualizes by perception to visualize the God in everyone and helps everyone visualize God in themselves. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to express some of my views. May it be so as I have said. Atazamyan yatha prinami. Thank you.
Jehan, thank you so much for a very enlightening talk. If there are any questions from the audience, could you please put your hand up and unmute yourself and ask the question?
Great.
Mebat,
Yes, Arda, I'm still.
Does anyone have a
I
question?
think we had a raised hands from Bahumata.
I think she signed off.
What an
Karishma,
excellent,
Karishma Koka.
Okay,
Karishma?
go ahead, please. Go ahead.
what an excellent presentation. What fluid language, beautifully presented, really.
Thank you.
Useful.
Jasab, Hamazor, Hama Ashobad, the most wonderful clarity of thought applicable to today's changing times and so inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jehan, I have a general question.
Yes.
How would you explain this to our kids in grades 1 to 4? Is there an easy way for them to follow this? So from day one, we educate them about the Amesha Spentas and how they live their lives, following these principles.
Excuse me, Arda, how would you what? Could you repeat?
Explain these concepts of Amesha Spentas in a very easy manner to kids in grades 1 to 6 or grades 1 to 5, where they follow this from day one in their daily lives. So by the time you get to college, it becomes a practice.
Yes. That I think one needs to clearly demonstrate to them that truth and righteousness is the one that always helps you progress. And the progress is the key word in the life on this in this physical existence. And I think that having them understand that we have to be progressive continuously and through the thinking and through telling the truth that we can approach the closeness to the divinity within.
Very good. Mebat, are there any other questions? If not, I have another question.
We have a hand raised from Maharuk Mutafaram.
Maruk, please go ahead.
Unmute yourself, Mark. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Jan Uncle. This was just incredible, as always. Very articulate, to the point, easy to understand, and really put into practice. I would like to know how these Amesha Spentas that you've talked about are all at a spiritual level. When we try to personify them, the personification of these Amesha Spentas, can you talk a little bit more about that? Perhaps that might help even the young adults understand their responsibility to the environment, to the water, to the earth. Perhaps that's the language it might be easy for them to understand. So could you elaborate on that, please?
That's right. That's right. I think that looking at the elements of creation, the earth, the environment, water, plant, animal are the ones that we have to look after, and that is what we have to bring it to the attention of the youth. I mean, having a pet in the house, having a pet in the house, every time you open the tap, thinking of water that we are using and the people who are going thirsty, only 1% of the water in the whole world is potable. And so we have to keep that in mind and bring it to the attention of the young adults that they have to continuously keep thinking of preserving the nature. And that is the key to the whole thing, because that would translate itself in the actual practice of the first triad of these Amesha Spentas. I hope that I tried to convey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jan Uncle. Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So we have another hand raised from Karishma Kuka.
Arda Sahib, I had a suggestion to answer your question for children. Since, as Jehan Sahib has explained, the Amesha Spentas are involved in every Jashan and represented by the material things that we have at Jashans.
Right.
If it can become practice, like it was in my home when I was growing up, okay, Mama would always say, you arrange the things, and it's still till today. You arrange the things for the prayers. And if that responsibility could be given to the younger people, they take pride in doing that, they will automatically imbibe the meaning and ask questions.
Yeah, the very fact that we have in front of us all the creations at every Jashan prayer is the expression of the fact that we have to look after these creations. That is the message that we are trying to portray to the people when we are performing the rituals. Thank you.
Great suggestion, and I think in Afrini Hafta Amesha Spen we talk about in the first 7 paragraphs what each of those stand for and what we should be thinking of. I have another question for you, Jah Sahib.
Yes,
so, in terms of good mind, people often use the term "use your good mind," and my thinking is if one had a good mind, they would have already used it. So the key in life is to develop a good mind.
Spentamenu, because that is the mentality that has gone into practice and into action in bringing about the creation by Ahura Mazda. And I think what I was saying, that we have to try and portray the actual mentality that Ahura Mazda has used for that in his universal mind, that we have to make an effort to develop our mind through through this mentality. And I think that is the key to the whole point. The term Spenta menu occurs in the Gatha almost 15 times. And that what Zarathustra is trying to convey is that keep that progressive mentality with you so that your mind can develop into what is a good mind.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, Mehbad?
We have a hand raised by Debbie Alia. Go ahead, Debbie. Unmute yourself.
Debbie, unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Dr. Bagli, thank you so much for this wonderful talk. I think you should write a book, a short book. Of course, you would not want to call it the Idiot's Guide to the 7 Steps of Gaining Wisdom. You could call it the Smart Person's Guide to Gaining 7 Steps to Gaining Wisdom.
Right.
It would be a big hit.
Thank you.
It's very, very clear, and anyone, even a first grader, can understand.
Right, right.
If there are no more questions, I would like to thank Dr. Jehan Bagli. Oh, we have one more question. Did you have a question? Please go ahead.
You're talking of a good mind, how to develop good mind. You see, we pass about 50 to 60,000 thoughts a day. With each thought that we pass, if we are mindful of what we are thinking,
Mhm.
if we are thinking good thoughts, then our mind becomes good.
Mhm.
Our mind is made good.
Right, right.
If some of our thoughts are bad, we think badly of people, we talk badly of people, we do bad deeds and take pride in doing them and things like that, that is a bad mind. So with every thought, if we think good things mindfully, that becomes a good mind.
Yes, the positivity in thinking is crucial. Trying to eliminate the negative aspects of thinking is one of the most crucial things that one can do to develop vahumana and to vahishtamana, good thinking to the best thinking. And the best is never enough because there is always room for progress. And I think that is something we need to keep in mind, that comparing with the universal mind of Ahura Mazda, we are continuously progressing towards that universal mind in our thinking. And that is what we can keep. If we can keep that in mind, that then the evolution of the good mind automatically would come into function.
Excellent point, excellent point. And with that, I'd like to sincerely thank again, Jehan Bagli Sahib. We really, really appreciate your talk. And please keep us informed of your ideas. If you would like, please continue to write for NAMC. And I wish you nothing but the best and good health and your family.
Arda?
Haji.
Arda, before we go, will it be okay if we can just take a minute to, I know we're going to send the email out, and the email will be distributed soon about the online course that is coming up. I'm just going to share my screen. If you just want to take a minute or two to mention about that in case if anybody is interested. And yes, the information will be coming out shortly. So I'm just going to bring that up on the screen. All right, sorry, this is, let me just minimize.
Thanks, Mehbad, for remembering.
No problem. This is, I don't know if you can see the screen. I just had to do it in the last moment, but this is the introduction to Zoroastrianism.
Tempen, would you like to take a minute to talk about this, please?
Hey, thank you so much. NAMC Institute of Zoroastrian Studies, in association with the Catholic Theological Union, is coming up with this course, an introduction to Zoroastrianism. It's primarily designed for students of the Catholic Theological Union. It is open to all. This is the first course that we are implementing under the auspice of NAMC Institute of Zoroastrian Studies, and we would encourage everyone to participate in it. The course is very practical. It will talk about the faith, the history, how it relates to modern life. How do we live a Zoroastrian life, and how does it connect? How has it influenced, and how is it influenced by other major religions? It's a relatively short course, but it will be very important for somebody to take that course to learn about Zoroastrianism. So this brochure gives out the place to register. Also, the North American Moabit Council has agreed to share scholarships, 3 scholarships, with local associations. So if any local association sees it in their wisdom to sponsor their own congregants, then NAMC will partly provide scholarships. Okay, so thank you so much, and thank you for listening.
Just one thing, if I could add. So for those of you who don't know, Tempton is the dean of NAMC's ICS that was founded recently. As you all know, Tempton is himself a scholar in Zoroastrianism, and we really encourage all of the young kids, if they can join this course and continue to join the seminars. And again, Tempton would be willing to help in any way NAMC can help. Thank you again, and with that, the meeting is formally adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arda. Thank you.
Arda, how often is the course? Once a week?
No, it's for Tempton is for how many days? 10 days?
It's 5-day course.